This is going to be kind of a bittersweet video on Neighbours for the month of February 2022. Neighbours gets up to third place in my rankings, the highest it has been. Over the last 2 months, Neighbours has started to go up in my rankings. This is the highest it has been. I have 3 pretty solid stories to talk about, which got us here. But the big news coming out for Neighbours earlier in February was unfortunate news that the channel that carries Neighbours in the UK has axed Neighbours, and that is where the production gets most of its money to produce this show. The channel in Australia can't continue to produce Neighbours by themselves, and so it looks like Neighbours could be ending later this year, likely in the summer. And it's a shame because I really do feel like Neighbours is in a really good spot and I've quite enjoyed it. Now, I know that they were hoping to try and get another UK channel to invest in the product and put it on their channel. I know the fans on Twitter are trying to get ITV to pick up Neighbours in the UK, but as of this recording, that has yet to happen. So, as it stands, Neighbours will unfortunately be ending in the summer of 2022 after being on the air for, I believe this is its 37th year on air, maybe? It's been on since 1985 and I can't do math. But let's talk about the stories. It is unfortunate that Neighbours isn't a good place, and I have been quite enjoying it. I mean, it's number 3 in my rankings. We'll start with the Paul story. It's not necessarily this great story, and it's kind of redundant because it's Paul, and the character of Paul has just always been this villain that is always plotting. While this month was no different. Paul has had a mysterious illness, but it's really just a plot to get Therese back. They've had these problems as of late, and she got close to his brother Glenn. But with this illness, it brought her and Paul closer again. And he had this fake doctor trying to push this narrative that he's really sick with this mysterious illness. David was suspicious of the doctor and ended up telling Therese about Paul's manipulation, and that, of course, once again brought Paul and Therese apart. So yeah, the fake illness plot was one of the bigger plots of Neighbours this season. I am fumbling all over my words. I'm going to blame it on my allergies today, which are atrocious. So apologies for that. But let's talk about another story that was happening. The story of Levi and Freya. Freya has been a new mysterious character who just came to town and got close to Levi. There's this point where Roxy is suspicious of Freya and breaks in, which was kind of extreme, and that of course was a confrontation between those two. But Freya's been using Levi to try and get information on her ex. Her ex's name is Gareth, and he went missing, and I guess because he had to go into hiding. Now, they haven't really gone into much of this past with Freya and Gareth that I know of. I don't know if Freya is a character that was on the show before I started watching in the fall. But as it stands right now, Levi is mad, but she kind of still is trying to get his help in finding Gareth. This was an okay storyline, but I still enjoyed the whole mystery surrounding Freya and what she was really up to element of the story. Now, the best story continues to be the younger character of Zara, who is this bratty younger character that I've talked a lot about lately. There was a big moment at the beginning of the month where her and her mother, Amy, are getting into an argument, and Amy collapses and Zara just walks away, even though Amy was actually hurt. So Zara continues to cause not only trouble for her mother, but also just the younger couple of Hendrix and Mackenzie, kind of coming between that popular younger couple. And another element of the story is Zara trying to fit in with the popular kids at school and her crush on Hendrix. She's going around saying she and Hendrix are really close, which, I mean, in a way they are, but it's obviously a friendly close. But Zara's trying to use it to make it seem like Hendrix is into her, even though she's the one into Hendrix, of course. So a lot of the story has been her trying to manipulate the situation to make it seem like to the popular girls at school that she and Hendrix are actually becoming an item. And it has started to cause a bit of a ripple effect between Mackenzie and Hendrix, because Hendrix keeps taking Zara's side when Zara keeps messing up, and she's getting blamed for some of the things the popular girls are doing at school because Zara has a history of being a mess up lately. So Mackenzie's pretty much fed up with Hendrix trying to take up for Zara all the time. I've enjoyed this little... It's not really a triangle because Hendrix is not into Zara, but it's always good to see a vixen character, this one being a younger vixen character. Every soap opera needs one of these from time to time, and right now Zara is the one for Neighbours. Zara's causing a lot of trouble to the characters, her mom, and now Hendrix and Mackenzie and other younger characters on the show. And I think that's been their best story for me. It is entertaining, and I'm interested to see where it goes next. I don't expect it to go much further, I'm sure. But I want to see where they go with the character of Zara, because her walking away from her mother, who is hurt, really showed a darker side of Zara. We've seen some darker sides of Zara. And she's definitely bratty, but she's a step beyond bratty when it comes to a villain character, in my opinion. But that about sums up the 3 best stories for Neighbours in February, in my opinion. The unfortunate news, like I mentioned, is that Neighbours is likely going to be canceled, and it only has about 5 months left on air. It seems like August might be the last month of Neighbours. They could still find another home in the future. That's been talked about as well, that it might end for a while, but they could get picked up again down the line. But for now, this is where we're at with Neighbours. I think it's in a good spot. I expect it to stay in a good spot. I feel like if they think they're ending, they're going to go all out in the last couple of months to wrap up the show. But for now, I have Neighbours in 3rd place.